The Leafs and the Ottawa Senators just finished their first preseason game of the 2023-24 campaign. We're going to break this whole game down for you and discuss our Hat-Trick HQ players of the game. But before we get into that, we just want to say that we're 60 subscribers away from hitting our goal of 1,000 subscribers before the season starts. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button if you're looking for a place to daily NHL and daily Leafs content. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the main topic of the video today, which is the first preseason game between the Leafs and the Senators. And we take a look here at the lines. I'm not going to go down through the entire lines, but we see Domi paired with Nylander at center, and Lafferty, and he had Nyes, Minton, and Ellis, and he had Riley playing with Liljegren down there with Petruzzelli starting. And as we take a look at the Ottawa lines, obviously we had Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle with Claude Giroux, and Matthew Highmore, Rourke Chartier, and Josh Bailey. And they had Sanderson and Zub with Forsberg starting in net. And unfortunately for Leafs fans, this game didn't end the way that they wanted, falling 3-2 in this game. The Leafs did battle back in the second and third period, but ultimately couldn't get the job done. As we take a look at this scoring summary here, Brady Tkachuk potted one for Ottawa. Tim Stützle had 2 for Ottawa as well. And then Lagesson and Steeves, 2 unlikely heroes, potted them for Toronto. And we take a look at the goaltending stats here. Keith Petruzzelli played the first 2 periods, but then Hildeby started in the third. He put up a great performance here with 28 saves, or 28 shots with 25 saves. And Anton Forsberg finished the whole game with 36 saves on 36 shots. And, Mark, this was a great game to watch. I thought, with these lines, I didn't think this game would be as competitive as it was. But it really turned into a really competitive game and a great one to watch for the first of the season.
Yeah, you kind of seen at the beginning of this game, too. The Leafs started off sluggish. It's the first preseason game. I mean, everyone's just kind of getting their footing, getting back to game speed. The Sens did start their top line this game, and it's kind of hilarious to see them play against the Leafs with such a top-end talent playing against the Leafs kind of bottom 6 and a couple AHL guys. But overall, we've seen a lot out of this game. I mean, you've seen Domi's first game as the Leafs. He looked outstanding on this team. He worked amazing on the power play. He was moving the puck. He took a roughing 13 seconds into the game, which I just found was hilarious. But overall, I thought he had an incredible performance. Nylander played outstanding at center. He really played up to his game. He was moving the puck well. He was making good passes. Overall, both of these guys didn't score, but just a huge impact out of these guys. Lafferty was a guy we seen almost hit a reverse hit on someone. He was fast. He was energetic. He was throwing the body. And Matthew Nyes, in my opinion, just had an outstanding game. We seen in the second, he kind of battled on the boards, got the puck to the point, which ultimately led to a goal. His skating looks improved. He was a hound on the puck. He was battling. And he just looked like that prototypical just power forward that the Leafs have been looking for quite some time.
Yeah, I think the story of this game was the goaltending battle. I think both of these goaltenders, or 3 of these goaltenders, had such a great game. I think Connor was the storyline of this game. Forsberg had such a great game. The Leafs really picked it up in the second and third period, and I really did think that they were going to tie it up there in the dying seconds on the power play with the goalie out. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But for me, I think Brady Tkachuk obviously had a great game for the Ottawa Senators. Was laying the body, getting in the corners, getting the puck out, digging it out for his teammates. But one player that I know, when we talked about his contract extension, we didn't really know much about this guy, but Jake Sanderson had such a great game for Ottawa here. He had 2 assists, but not only that, I think he jumped up in the rush about 3 or 4 times, and that led to like 3 great scoring chances that Petruzzelli ended up saving. But this guy just had such a great game. He played really well on the penalty kill as well, keeping the puck in the corner there on that 5-on-3 for like 30 seconds to kill it. I think this guy had such a standout game to me. I just think for a player that we didn't really know going into this season or after his contract extension, I definitely think he earned the money.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You kind of seen him play all over the puck. He was great shutting down the rushes. He was really stopping the Leafs on the blue line. He was showing a lot of offense out of his game. And like you said, that penalty kill on the 5-on-3, the Leafs called the timeout. They tried to work this power play. They had something set up, and it just killed the momentum with him just trapping the puck in the corner. It was three Leafs guys versus him and Zub. And you could just see that they were battling. They were keeping the puck out. It killed a lot of penalty time. And overall, I think he had an outstanding game for the Sens.
Yeah, definitely. And the big story of this game, too, I think was the penalty kill from both sides. After they ultimately gave that power play goal to Steves after, it was in the dying seconds. We weren't really sure, but on the box score here it says that it was credited as a power play goal. So both penalty kills are about both penalty kill systems, or whatever you want to call it, went 1 for 4 for the Leafs and 1 for 5 for the Senators. But the Killers were playing really well out there. I thought Gambrell did such a great job out there for the Leafs. I think he was great at killing those penalties. And Briley with the chance on the penalty kill too. He played phenomenal back there. And the guy on the Senators that kind of stood out to me on the penalty kill, like I said, was Sanderson. But Zub too. He played really well, dumping the puck out.
Yeah, that's a big thing. We've seen both teams. They're trying so much here now. We're kind of seeing this thing with the Leafs too, where they try the power play with Riley there. A lot of people are talking that Klingberg's going to take over this first unit and kind of slide Riley back here with this what they're running now with Riley, Liljegren, than having Domi, Nyes, and Lafferty or someone else in this area kind of running the second power play. So it's interesting to see. I mean, the Leafs' top power play is going to be the most productive. They were outstanding last year. They're going to look good again this year. It's going to be interesting to see Klingberg slide up there with more of a passing with a guy with a big shot compared to Riley, who was just kind of the bumper guy down on the point just to move the puck back and forth to get into Matthews' hands. But I think overall, both teams played incredible. It's nice to see hockey back. That's the big thing here. I think overall, both teams have a great future. I think they're going to be competitive this year. And for the regular season games, there's going to be outstanding with these full lineups coming in.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited now. Hockey's back. Like you said, it's just exciting that you can turn on the TV and there's hockey on finally. It was such a great game today, too, which I wasn't expecting. A nice tight contested contest. It was such a good game to watch. If you missed it, try to find a replay of it because it was a great game to watch. But there's one guy here who I didn't really know going into this game, and that was Lajoie on the Leafs. I think this guy had such a great game. I think you can notice him on the ice out there. Even in preseason, he was laying the body on some guys.
Yeah, you love to see these guys. A lot of these people we see, they're fighting to get into the NHL. I do think he starts in the AHL at the start of the year, and unless a lot of injuries, I can't see him getting a significant amount of time on the Leafs. But we're going to see a lot of these guys step up, start making impacts. I mean, every kid's dream that makes it into hockey is to make it to the NHL at any level they're in. So you see these guys that are just like fringe guys. They're fighting out of the Marlies, they're fighting out of the AHL just to make these big clubs. And you love to see these guys make the impact. I think he's going to be outstanding for the Marlies. You might see a couple of games here and there if the Leafs do struggle a bit or want to rest a couple guys. But overall, I do think he's a Marlies player. I think he's outstanding. I think he has a chance to make the NHL. But with the Leafs having so many people in front of him, it's kind of hard just to kind of slide him in.
That's the same with Lagesson, too. He scored such a beauty back from the point. Kind of stepped in, put it in tight to his skates, and ripped the top corner. It was such a good shot. Former Habs prospect, but he's now with the Leafs, and I think this guy's going to have a great year with the Marlies, and, barring any injuries, which we're not hoping, we might see this guy jump up this year.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, we have such a deep pipeline with the Leafs right now. I know one guy I do want to talk about later is Steves. I think he was outstanding today. I think overall he put on one of the best performances. But we're going to see so many guys. It's preseason's not super long, but it's long enough to make this impact. Show who you are. Show why you're meant to be here. You have the guys like Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, Marner. I can go on this big list of guys that are, okay, we're in the NHL. There's not a chance we're not playing. But you have these guys that could surprise you. If someone plays completely off their mind in the preseason, they're showing you that they cannot be sent down. It really forces the coaches to make this big decision like, hey, clearly these guys know what they're doing. We're going to keep an eye. We're going to call them up and just see how they work in the system. So it's really nice to see this impact from everyone.
Yeah, and Fraser Minton did have a good game as well. I think he was pretty noticeable out there too. I think him and Clifford had some great chemistry out there. They led to a couple scoring chances, but couldn't put it in the back of the net. But this is a guy who's 19 years of age and coming into a preseason game here where the lines are shaken up. You haven't really met the guys yet, only through training camp, and two of them having great chemistry out there was very surprising to me.
Yeah, we see Clifford. He's been in the league for quite some time. He was with the Kings during their runs. He kind of jumped around a bit. He made it to the Leafs. He never really got a fair shot on making the team and just completely making the run on the fourth line. We did move away from him, but he's been in the Marley system. He seems like an amazing mentor. He's a guy that's going to help develop these young guys, just give them leadership, help them learn how to be leaders. And overall, I think he's a massive impact on this Marlies team. It's nice to see him working with the young guys, just taking on this almost development role while still playing hockey, and I think it's just amazing to watch.
Now, Mark, I'm going to bring up something to you here now. As you see the screenshot, obviously William Nylander playing center was kind of the storyline for some media outlets in Toronto. He went 11 for 11 on the draws, 50% in his first game playing center in a long time. I think he played really well in the center role today.
Oh, he played outstanding. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit of hiccups. He's learning this position. It's just a matter of time where you just repetitively just completely change your game. You play the same position at center, and over time you'll slowly get better and better. I think he has so much talent. I know in an interview he said, "I'm not going to get so many breakaways now that I'm playing center," but we've seen in this game he got a breakaway. He didn't capitalize on it, but overall I think he looked outstanding. And honestly, Lafferty looked good on this line. I did really like Domi and Nylander. I think they complement each other a lot. Nylander's an outstanding passer. He can score. We've seen last season with the 40 goals. Domi's is an incredible playmaker. And I think I like this aspect of having these two guys. And you can kind of cycle out this right wing. You can try Lafferty there. You can maybe move Nyes over. Call a guy like Steves up. I thought he looked incredible on the power play with the two of these guys. So I do like this line. It kind of scares me on what the Leafs do with the second line. Are they looking for a trade? Maybe sign a guy? We've seen Josh Bailey. He looked incredible for the Sens tonight. And I do like Nylander at center. I don't know if I would like to move him out of the top six just to force him to play center, but overall, I think he had an outstanding game.
Yeah, definitely. I think he definitely put the organization on notice that he can play center, and I think throughout this preseason, as he gets more reps in, I think he'll only get better. And like you said, he was worried about not getting those breakaways, but he did have a nice one today. But he ultimately didn't bury it. But he did forecheck great as well. That was one thing I've seen a lot of people were concerned about was his defense playing center, because the center role is more of a forechecking defensive type of role, but I thought he did very well for checking today. But we're going to get into our next segment here, which is our Hat-Trick HQ players of the game. And Mark, I want to ask you, who's your Hat-Trick HQ player of the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs today?
So I was going to pick one, but the more we talked in this video, I think I have to put it down to two guys. First guy, Matthew Knies. Like I said, he was incredible this game. He was working the boards, but just overall, he was being physical. We seen him on the penalty kill. He had a nice clearing attempt there. He had great forecheck. His skating looked improved. He looked strong on the puck. He looks like he belongs in the NHL. I know he made it into the season last year. He played some of the playoff games before he had his concussion. But just overall, this guy was just, I couldn't keep my eyes on him when he was on the ice. He was just causing so much disruption for the Sens. He was just getting people looked open. Like I said, he was the reason why we cleared it off the boards to a defenseman, which ended up being a goal. So I think he had an incredible game. And Steves is a guy. So I keep talking about Bobby McMahon, Nick Robertson, these guys just to kind of make it. But this game really made me just focus on Steves. We've seen him with Domi and Nylander on the power play. He looked incredible. He was getting open. He was getting shots off. He was moving the puck well. He was battling for it. This is a sneaky guy that I think could make it. We've seen the goal he scored this game. It was incredible. It was just a complete wrister into the top shelf. It was nothing to do with anyone else. He caught this puck and he fired that in. So overall, I would not be upset with this guy maybe being tested again. Maybe we could see a line of Domi, Nylander, Steves. If it continues to work, why break it up? Which will kind of let you work around a few other things and maybe make Robertson into the top six, or maybe drop Robertson down into the AHL for a couple games. But overall, I think these two guys, I really wish I could pick one who stuck out to me more. But I think both guys looked absolutely phenomenal and could be game changers for the Leafs.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I think both guys had a really great game for Toronto, but my hat-trick HQ player of the game for the Ottawa Senators is, we haven't talked about him yet, but Tim Stützle, Jimmy Stu. He had such a great game for Ottawa today, scoring 2 goals, but even off the stat sheet, I think he just used his speed to his great ability, to his ability, and just was skating up the ice with ease with the puck. He scored 1 goal on his strong side, ripped it right where Grandma hides the cookies, and then he scored another one on the opposite side, on his weak side. Same type of shot, put it top corner. I think this guy has a rocket, and I think we should watch out from this year, because I think he's definitely hitting 100 points. I think we said that before in a video, but this guy is a player to watch this year. I think he's just, it's hard to say that he's going to have a breakout year coming off of 98 points, but I'm expecting them to get probably 110 with this Ottawa roster this year. I think this guy had such a great performance today, going just nuclear, I think. I wasn't really expecting this today, but he did have such a great game. It's hard to knock him, 2 goals on the stat sheet, and then, just such a great player, a great defensive player as well. I'm so excited to see him this year.
Yeah, I think it'd be criminal if he didn't get 100 points this year. You see this development from him. He's getting so much better. His shot's just an incredible shot. Top 10, top 15 maybe in the league. And you just kind of see this guy developing. The Sens team's getting better. They're getting these veterans like Tarasenko. They've had Giroux. They're getting these guys to help these guys develop. And you see a guy like Stützle and Brady Tkachuk, and they're just going to help elevate this team. I think Stützle is just primed for a 100-point season. I think if he doesn't get it, it'd just be absolutely ridiculous at this point. And I think he's definitely one of the franchise players that this team does have locked up and need to focus when they build.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there, but we're going to get into everybody's favorite topic, comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Milton. He says, as a Habs fan, I really like this Toronto team this year. And I've been saying this, Milton, I'm a Habs fan, but I really do enjoy this Toronto team this year. I think it's going to be such a great team to watch. And we only seen 1 game, and the big dogs weren't even out there to eat. So it's only going to get better as we go out through this preseason. But once the season starts, this Toronto team is going to be a fun team to watch.
I mean, this is not going to be a hot take, me saying I think the Leafs are going to be outstanding this year. I think I say it every video. But yeah, no, just like the situation with Montreal and Toronto, with Montreal getting better now too, they're getting a lot of players. They're kind of building this core. We're going to see competitive games against Toronto and Montreal. Obviously, if Montreal played 82 games against Toronto, they'd probably win 70 of them, because that's just how the Leafs play against the Habs. But overall, I think this is going to be an exciting season for both teams. Montreal might be into the tanking season, but you see these guys, young guys, develop. You see what this core looks like, and we have Toronto making that big push. And I think at some point in the near future, we're going to see Montreal and Toronto competing hard against each other, fighting for the President's Trophy, just fighting for the top of the Atlantic. And I think overall it's just going to be exciting for both teams.
Yeah, definitely. We got 2 great teams to watch this year, Mark. I think Montreal's going to be fun. That young team that's kind of not expected to do anything. I think they're going to go out there and surprise a lot of people. But obviously Toronto, with the roster they got, they're going to have a great year competing for the Cup this year, in my opinion. But if the moral of this video is Leafs fans, don't panic. I know it's a loss for the first game, technically, of the season, but I think there was a lot of great positives to come out of this game for Toronto. I think a lot of your young players played really well and showed that they could play in the NHL, but they are back in action again tomorrow night against the Ottawa Senators again, and tomorrow we should see Matthews and Marner and all these guys in the lineup, so it's going to be interesting. Tarasenko's first game in the Ottawa Senators jersey too. Going to be a great game to watch. Make sure to tune into that. But one thing we want to know is, what do you guys think of this type of video? Do you like these kind of post-game recaps? We like to hear from you down in the comment section below, because we love doing them for you guys. We're obviously watching all the games, so if you guys want us to keep pushing this content, let us know down below. And if you like this video, hit the like button, go down, hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, so if 60 of you guys watching this, go down, hit the subscribe button. We'll be jumping for joy. We'll be doing our lottery dance. But I've been KC alongside my co-host Mark Pye. Keep your stick on the ice.